This interview is for an exercise in a course that I'm taking this semester. For the purposes of this exercise, do you consent to being interviewed and recorded?
Yes.
Awesome.
So I am a babysitter / nanny. I've done this probably since I was 14, I would say. And my other job, so I am also a server and a supervisor, which is kind of like a lower level manager at Snooze, which is a restaurant on Pearl Street. So for Snooze, my shifts normally start around 6:30 in the morning. Making all the coffee, start wiping down on the tables, greeting all of our guests, and then it's normally about an 8 to 10 hour shift. But for these guys, every Tuesday I go to their house. I feed them lunch, which is what they're having right now. And then normally I will drive them to take her to school for a couple of hours, drive home, put him down for a nap.
So in talking about Snooze, how diverse are your coworkers? Would you?
So I'd say it's really interesting. I've worked there for about 2 years, and I've seen a lot of turnover just in the staff and management. And I would say that the gender diversity is definitely more equal these days. When I first started, it was a very female-dominant kitchen. It's now more male-dominant. And the management team that I had was more male-dominant, but now it's more female-dominant.
With your experience with babysitting too, just like throughout the years, have you seen it change at all?
Basics of it, not really. I mean, I think most parents are looking for normally girls to take care of their kids around my age. Right, do you want your jacket? Okay.
Are there specifically gendered jobs that women have to do or men have to do when you're working at Snooze? Like, is it gendered at all in that sense?
So I don't think that there are necessarily jobs that they would say you have to do based on what your gender is, but there are definitely jobs that women take care of that men just don't.
I think that there are just like things that aren't explicitly gendered but just kind of like fall into place.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think that the company moral and the way that we train everybody is that it's everybody's job. Everyone works in a teamwork kind of environment, which is definitely something you want to encourage. But I think when it comes to what actually gets done, a lot of the times it falls more on the woman to do more of the tidying side work, taking care of the more minute tasks. The example I can think of is there's even like a couple that's dating at Snooze and they get really mad at each other because of gender inequality. The girlfriend I think is often made like where she has to do a lot of the side work while her boyfriend is easily able to just like go in the back and smoke cigarettes for most of the closing time, and he's not held accountable for any of that. But because they're dating, she feels like she has to uphold for the rest of his work.
What differences have you noticed in gender inequality in the workplace?
I think it mostly holds down to like accountability and what women are held accountable for versus what men are held accountable for. One of it, I think women are held more strictly too. They can't fall as far in the cracks if things are missed or parts of your job are made to seem more lazy, I guess.
Have you seen like any gender inequality just like kind of more in like the higher ups?
I'd say it's pretty similar. I think the only like thing that I see is I don't get as much respect, I don't think, when I'm in a manager role as my male counterparts. And more randomly from the men. It's like when I ask men to do things because I'm like a younger woman, it's like they get almost insulted that I'm like asking them to do things or like insinuating that they're doing their jobs incorrectly.
Do you think Snooze does a good job of kind of handling gender inequality?
I don't know. I think that like the ways that like I've personally handled it, like in the situations I've personally been in, and those are the only ones I can speak to, I don't think things are always handled correctly. And I think the times that I've brought up gender inequality in the workplace to my management teams, they don't always respond very well, and they kind of make it seem like, well, if it's a problem for you guys, you need to fix it yourselves. Like management doesn't need to step in, and kind of makes it feel like if you ask for help from management, it makes you look weak.
There are like different expectations at Snooze or even like in nannying because you're a woman of like what you're gonna be able to like get done.
The expectations are the same across the board. It's just I think the attitude in which women are supposed to have is a little bit different. Like you're supposed to have a smile on your face while you're doing it.
Just like a piece of advice that you wish your management would kind of take more seriously with gender inequality, or even that you could kind of like have change in the realm of like babysitting and kind of what parents expect. Do you think that there's anything that you would like push for specifically?
A lot of times people think like if it's not broke, don't fix it. But I think it's like things have cracks, but it's not yet leaking. So I think just because you don't necessarily see a blatant problem with something right under your nose, just kind of taking a second glance at looking at how you uphold various people for the same position.
Cool.